Alright, it's still season 2 time, guys, and we are in the second episode of Isla Napali season number 2, and as promised, you get 3 videos this weekend, which is due to the fact that there is a little bit of a hype train on me, with me for this second season. So yeah, just enjoy today's episode as well, and have a good Saturday overall. I love how this intro is just coming to an end and gives me the perfect opportunity to jump in here, and then we are greeted by the ever great known Isla Napali music in the background. So I can really start with one thing that you guys have been commenting already in the first episode, and I'm pretty happy you did, because it kind of was obvious that this was gonna happen. Some of you pointed out that this coaster will need a lot of custom supporting. Yeah, well, it's exactly this way. We do need a lot of custom supporting, and you will see me doing this in this episode. However, I have to say, it's a bit more on the creative side. It's somewhat of a unique design I wanted to go with, but still make it somewhat believable. I feel like in the end we succeeded in this kind of sense, that it does look somewhat realistically, and I really need your help again to point out a few things, as you have done with the log flume, by the way. I will address that in a few minutes, but for the moment we are keeping the entire episode here on this support corner, actually. So the entire episode will be around making sure that this area looks super awesome in the end, and I have to say it does. I can already spoil this, because I'm really happy with how it turned out. However, I'm not entirely sure if it's super realistic, and this is what we're aiming for. So again, I will need your help. So if you want to be nitpicking, if you want to be the one to criticize me for whatever, as long as it's grounded, please let me know in the comments down below, because I really want to make this area look as realistic as possible. And I also want to make sure that this area is feeling somewhat nicely though. So yeah, also, again, to mention again another comment, I want to go back to this and go back to your comments a bit more. I'm sorry that I won't read them out today, because it kind of takes a little bit of time to search for them, and since I'm invited to a wedding tomorrow, and I'm away on Sunday for football the whole day, this weekend is pretty much packed, and I need to pre-record that, so it's Friday night at the moment, and I am recording this in advance. So I am the recording is pretty much like 10 minutes after I have released the first episode of season 2. So effectively, the only thing I could do, actually not 10 minutes, 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's why I can also read some comments already. Yeah, so that's pretty much awesome. But yeah, some of the comments won't even be existing right now, even though they are existing when you're listening. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. It sounds strange, but it's the truth. So yeah, again, as I said, it's very promising what you guys are coming up with, and I am really hoping that you will be still commenting about this particular area over here. So yeah, just to bring it down to the whole notion of it, it's really about making the area look nice, but also give it a good support structure, because we need to make this coaster pathing through the overlaying coaster track on top of it. And as the game kind of has some issues as soon as the pieces are not exactly placed over each other, which is totally normal, because that's pretty much not what you want to do, but there still needs to be some way of kind of doing it. And here's the idea about that, because when you believe that this is a really old coaster, because we are in the old part of the park, it might have been built somewhat differently in the past, but it might be just that this corner over here has been kind of corrected towards the newer times, and in former times has been a little bit differently. So I thought maybe I'm going to repaint this corner to a little bit of a slightly I don't know, different colored brown, to be completely precise here. I don't know, because I feel like this is a cool idea to have one single part of the ride that is somewhat different towards what the other parts of the ride is, because I really want to maintain the other part of the ride as the old layout. So this is also why the color of the coaster will be a bit aged. So I'm I'm looking into making it a bit more bright and a bit more, I don't know, less saturated, if that's even possible, because it's kind of a less saturated brown anyways, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And also, I love the idea of being painted. So you guys came up with the idea that this might be painted. I'm surely not going for a full painted version, like having it really white or kind of, you know, the issue about this would be that it has to be painted quite often. So I'm imagining this has been painted maybe once in, I don't know, 2 decades or whatnot, to make sure that it's somewhat refurbished. Because if we really believe that this park has been kind of, you know, started to be produced and built in the late 60s, yeah, there's pretty much half a century gone by now, and you know, it's pretty obvious that there has been a refurbishment of this coaster anyway, so it's not too unrealistic to say that there has been some change about the coaster. I know, and I really want to make the log flume be really that old log flume without too many changes. I mean, obviously, yes, we need to make it somewhat believable that there has been at least the pumping work and so on might have been changed, but overall I think the best idea is to go with the old layout and the old feel of the log flume. However, like coasters and stuff, they all need not even refurbishment, but you know, they need to be secure for our guests to use them. And after 50 years, a wooden coaster, I would assume, without any maintenance and refurbishment, is pretty much not a secure thing to ride. So this is where I'm coming from here, and this is why I think this area which I'm building over here is pretty much realistic as it is. However, I don't really know if the support structure as it stands in terms of stability and yeah, I don't know, infrastructure and stuff is realistic. And by the way, I have no idea what kind of talking issue I have today, but I'm like a little bit like you know, it's, I don't know, it's my mouth is feeling a bit clumsy, and this is why I'm kind of moving over some words which I don't really want to do, but I'm trying to concentrate now a bit better that this doesn't happen, because it does annoy me myself. So that's what I want to say. Yeah, again, back to our little trick of using coaster tracks as a fence. I combined this time with a normal fence, and I feel like this is a good idea, because it's, yeah, I mean, it's something different again, but it's not also trying to abuse anything again just for the sake of abusing it. So yes, I abused the coaster track as a fence here, but you know, we've done this multiple times, so it's nothing new. But I felt like I wanted to have this as a guidance to make the fencing really look perfectly fine. The reason for this is that I thought, okay, if I want to make this area look really nice, like really nice and really fitting and really organic, because again, this area is more or less like the old area where we built around stuff that does already exist. I wanted to give it that feel as well, and that means that, for example, the fencing and so on has to go very organically into the overall layout of the pathing and the coaster itself. So as you can see, my solution I tried to do is, and try to work with, which worked out in the end, fortunately, is to use the wooden fence here as something that I put below the iron railing of the coaster, or actually the rail. It's actually the track piece, but however, it's kind of the iron railing of the fence now, if you will. But I just love to use this wooden plank fence, because you could really keep the same rotation, so keep it really 90 degrees full horizontal. No, it's vertical. That's what I wanted to talk about and want to call it. And you can still move it around, so that does look believable. As you can see here, we have a bit of a tilted element in the fencing, but however, these pieces are still perfectly vertically arranged, which would have been a bit strange if you do it without having this big rail on top that kind of gives it this organic tilted look to it, which is really a lot more nice than what it would be if I only used the fence pieces. And then, you know, I would have, you know, I could tilt them obviously with the advanced move tool, but however, I'd risk a seriously game crash here. And the second thing is, it wouldn't have even looked that good, because you would not be able to make the connection between these simple pieces and the single pieces, I should say, that nicely as I could have done this now with this one. So yeah, turning to the next point, before we have to talk a little bit of the log flume, by the way, but yeah, we put some security nets in here, and they gave me a huge struggle because there was literally nothing I could use as guidance to align the pieces. So in the end, I needed to put this big piece between two pillars, and then to find the perfect medium angle in between, and then just arrange these smaller ones and connect them with ropes. However, now let's talk about the log flume for a second, because you guys came up with a lot of feedback. First of all, just to, you know what, I'm just checking the boxes here because it's easier for you. First of all, yes, I'm going to change the location of the biggest drop. You guys are totally right. The biggest drop has to be the last one, and you know, you're going to increase the size of the drops toward the last one, and that's what we're going to do. I think we don't even have to change the layout. We just have to change where the track is the highest and where it has the lowest slope and whatnot, and that's pretty much easy to do. Second thing is, yes, I'm going to change the height of the coaster a bit, so that this underpassing track piece, which is a bit too close to the actual other track, will be changed as well, so that there is no danger for our guests as well, because if they want to stand, as you are pointed out perfectly fine, people might be able to stand up in this lock. They can actually touch the walls and the ceiling, what shouldn't be possible at all. So we are going to try and have a look into this, so that this is kind of fixed. And also, you're totally right, using the salty seawater here does require it's not even a refreshment system, it's more like a converter, like a salt water converter. But the thing is, we're gonna have one anyways on this island. This was planned from the very beginning. If you follow this series for a while, you will know that we will have kind of a water station anyways here, and this will be used obviously also in this area to make sure that we are able to use this water from the sea as well, because it'll be pretty hard to get normal, you know, water to the island all the time. So you would kind of carry that with ships, I don't know, but you know, since we are surrounded by a sea, well, by the Pacific, I should say. So I don't really know why we should look into something else. Yes, the station will be a bit bigger and also a bit more expensive, but you know what, it will be even more expensive to bring the water to the island. So there's basically no other good idea to do it. Actually, there's no other reason to do something else. So well, it is what it is, right? However, we are slowly reaching the end of this episode. I'm really sorry why, but this episode was a little bit weird talking. Again, me going over words for whatever reason, I don't know. It's maybe because I'm getting tired, I don't know. However, yeah, we have had a little struggle to where to place this tree, because another thing I have to talk about is that this older area will be also a way more overgrown by all the plants. For once, because this area has been the old park where they used to use the environment even better than in the new part. And secondly, the new part obviously needed to make some space, and therefore some plants were removed and some were replanted there. So yeah, it kind of is the idea that this is not fully grown and so much grown than the old part, because obviously there's more time that has passed away since then, so plants could have been growing even bigger. And yeah, anyways, before you moan, yes, I know the switch track idea I have here is pretty much wrong, because why would there be a track? That's gonna be fixed in the next episode. However, that's it about today's episode. I hope you enjoy still the second season of Isla Napali, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, have a great Saturday, and bye-bye.